So Damon and I thought we'd do this video and give our own little twist on a very, I guess, talked about, debated about subject, and this is long distance communications for your four-wheel drive vehicle. Now, the backbone of our comms out here is the ICOM F8101 in the Series 3, and we've also got a HF radio in the Perenti, which is a Barrett 4050 HF radio. Now, both of these radios are very different. The ICOM radio is probably a little bit more of a contemporary or old school design, some people may say, whereas the Barrett really sort of integrates the digital era that we're in regards to being able to use your mobile phone to sync into the radio through a Barrett app. So you can actually have all the controls of the radio on this application on your mobile phone, and you can be sitting 30 meters away from the actual vehicle and be able to have a chat, send text messages, emails, do GPS positioning and all the rest. So a really capable radio. But the ICOM obviously has some pros to it too. It doesn't have all the electricity with it. You can do text messages, you can do everything through the radio itself, but it is the old school way. So to get C, you have to press 2. Yes, you have to press 2, just had to double check that 3 times. So it can be a little bit tiresome, but anyway, it does the job. So that's really what we've been using, and one of the reasons why we like HF is because you've just got so many more possibilities than what's available with a satellite phone. Now, many people consider a satellite phone to be as easy to use as a mobile phone. Now, in my experience, and maybe it's just me, I haven't found that to be the case, and I've been using them for 7 years now. I've been in situations where I can't get a satellite for not just a couple of hours, but for days on end. And when you're working in very remote areas, when you're traveling in very remote areas, that's just not good enough. Now, I'm not saying that HF radio is better than a satellite phone. What I'm getting at, and eventually will explain, is that it's good to have multiple forms of communication. For us, we've got 2 different sets of radios in 2 different vehicles. So that means we've got a bit of diversity there. One of the other things that we have is a personal distress beacon, or as I used to call them, an EPIRB. And these are fantastic. We just keep them in the shelf of the Land Rover, so if everything goes up a certain creek that's brown, we can just grab it, pop it out the top, and off we go. And everyone knows exactly where we are. But getting back to the HF radio, you do have so many options that you don't get with a satellite phone. With the Austravel Safety Network, they've been able to develop a radio network that can really sort of utilise these features. So one of the things that we've actually been doing is keeping GPS positions of where we actually stop. Whether that's for filming, whether that's a camp, whether the Land Rover needs a break and we have to fix it, whatever it may be. This then gets relayed back to a base station, and it then actually goes into an app on your phone called the Out and About app. So this means our friends, wives, significant others can actually track our progress, and they can actually send us text messages that then go back to the actual base station, or base stations I should say, and actually is stored digitally in a mailbox. And so we can just dial in on the HF radio and we can see what text messages they've actually left, or voice messages. So that's really handy. You can obviously contact other people who've got a HF radio. You can do telephone calls also, which we've done a few this morning, just to call some friends, just to let them know that we've made it safely here. Email is a new feature that's starting to be utilised by the network also, and there's many other features that you can actually get out of it. One of the fantastic things about it is that yes, HF radios aren't cheap. They do cost quite a bit, particularly if you're buying a new one, but the fantastic thing is it's not like a satellite phone in the sense that after 5 years you've got to throw it away. you can get up to 20 years, 15 years worth of use. You can buy second-hand radios that are 10 years old, and they'll still have pretty much most of the features that the latest and greatest radios have also. So from that point of view, they're not too bad. The subscription to Austravel is around about $100 a year, depending on whether you want to be able to use all the features or not. So that's very, very cheap when you look at a satellite phone and sort of the plans that you're actually having to sign up for. So that's really why we use HF, and it's really the comm system that works for us. But anyway, just thought we'd give you this sort of little bit of a behind the scenes of what we actually use and how we actually function in regards to long distance comms. I guess I should touch on our short distance or UHFs that we use. We use Icom UHFs. We've got a 440 in the Parenti, which has been in there for 6 years, still works fine. And we've got the, I guess the little brother of the HF, we've got the IC 450, which works fine too. And they're a UHF radio, and they're a UHF radio, so it's got pretty much all the same features that your common UHF radio has. So anyway, that's probably all there is to say on the subject. But anyway, hopefully this video has been of interest to you. Maybe it's given you a bit of food for thought. And yeah, check out Austravel Safety Network. You can click on the link in the content section down below. Anyway, hope to see you in our next video.